Hello and welcome, my Smurfs, realizing there's not that many female Smurfs, and therefore it's kind of weird how that's going to end up working in the long term. It's SJB here, and we are going to play some chimps for you guys. Now, of course, we're playing on a pretty normal, easy-ish map. I picked Monkey Lane because it's just so classic, and I decided to go for a Dragon's Breath Wizard. Now, the reason why I did this is because I was playing 2 tower chimps the other day, and I tried to do it with a ton of different towers, and the most impressive tower out of all the different tower combinations that I used was Dragon's Breath. I don't know why it ended up being so ridiculously powerful, but it just was. In addition, if you don't need a bunch of cam detection, you can go for Guided Magic and Arcane Blast, and make yourself even better by being able to position where your wall of fire is. So if you put them in a spot that doesn't make that much sense for fire, it's a great way to do it. But, of course, if you put them in a spot that's already pretty good for Wall of Fire, then it might not matter as much. But anyways, I wanted to try a weird strategy. I realized I really liked Dragon's Breath, and I decided, well, why am I not using it? And why am I not using it in large quantities? Is there a reason why? And can we buff these guys to make them even more powerful and actually make sense in a real game? Let's give it a shot, man. We're going to learn something together today, no matter what. Also, as far as heroes go, I realized that there is one big weakness to this strategy, just in its entirety. Purple Bloons. Purple Bloons are very difficult, and then purple Camo Bloons even more than that. So I realized that I should pick a hero that has both camo detection and purple popping power, and the one that came to mind to me that's just kind of easy and pretty good in this map is just Sada. So I'll admit that Sada is obviously a very good hero, so if this is going to play into our strategy a little bit, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Just note that it might be sort of one hero oriented. I also realized that when I'm doing my Dragon's Breath Wizard strategy, I often just don't use villages for some reason. I think it's because you just say, well, they've got camp detection already, you don't really need a village, you can kind of just put them off in the wilderness and just let them do their thing. But if we do get a village, an extra 15% of extra attack speed is not a bad deal, on top of the extra range, and on top of the fact that you can give wizards that don't have camo detection for the cheap price of only $2,000. All of this added together means we have an almost unstoppable team so far. But we're going to make it better, we're going to make it stronger, and we're going to see if we can take this into the late game. So let's skip quite a few rounds, because I honestly believe we're going to be totally dominant for a while. Let's check out round 54, because this is a round that can often cause chaos for a lot of players. There's a lot of Moabs and a lot of Bloons kind of combined together on top of each other. Guess what? The amount of fire that we have in this little zone right here is almost ridiculous. It melts some Moabs, dude. Of course, with some Dragon's Breath action and everything. But that's pretty wild. We've had no Bloons get through this giant fire ridiculousness here, and that's not even including the fact that we've got a lot of time for it to come around a second time, and then still have to leak through everything else. This strategy so far has been absolutely dominant. Okay, so here would be like one round that would actually be a big deal for us. Purple Bloons. Lots of Purple Bloons on round 62. With Sada, though, it's ended up being not a big deal at all. I could see on other maps where you have many different paths that this could end up being a little bit more chaotic. But for right now, absolutely dominant. Round 63, the first time, Bloons have clearly been all the way around here, no problem, and they do not sneak through the second wall of fire here. Not to mention, though, that I have $30,000 saved up here. And the question is, what am I going to be doing with this moolah? Oh, I think I want to change up my strategy a little bit. I don't know why, but I feel like Dragon's Breath shoots so quickly that Alchemists don't normally make that much sense on them, right? I mean, if we get a random 4... If I was going to get an Alchemist, I'd probably get a 4-2-0, but I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to go for a 4-0-2, just because I want to make sure I'm throwing as much possible alchemy on these guys as I can. But it actually does last a pretty reasonable amount of time, but not a long time. It's maybe like half the time, and that's all he's alchemizing. He's not doing it... Oh, he is actually doing Sada as well. Okay, you know what? I'll take that. It's not a perfect alchemy, but it's a decent alchemy, and that's fine by me. Now, of course, the 60s are going to be easy. We're going to be making a lot of money over here. The 70s probably still won't be super difficult. And I was thinking, if I could make a permabrew happen, would that be dominant as crap or what? We've got to test this out, guys. Let's see if we can make this happen. It's only 34 grand away, which seems kind of wild, but if we can just survive a couple of the early 80s, it's going to be easy money and easy wins. All right, we're currently at around 78. This is sometimes a problem level for towers that can't pop purple balloons because the second set of camo ceramics that come out also have a bunch of purple balloons kind of in between everything. So, and yes, I am not buying an MIB, by the way. I don't feel the necessity, but check this out. Around 78, the first time the balloons easily go through over here, but as they wrap around, they do get defeated with 53 plus $1,000 saved up, and that was 0 SADA abilities used. Absolutely fantastic, man. All right, life is good. Life is really, really good, and I'm kind of excited here because Permabrew might look like it doesn't reach the range of these wizards here, but once we finally get this guy, I believe that there's a new range increase because of the new update. So we're going to see if that ends up playing a role here. But I wanted to talk to you guys about something possibly controversial, possibly kind of weird. I could get some, like, people fighting me back on it in some situations. I just don't know. I like to speak my mind whenever possible, and sometimes speaking my mind does technically, I guess, get me in a little bit of trouble here. Because everybody's got different opinions, and whenever you speak something controversial, it just sort of happens. I should really stop saying that word, the C word, because I'll probably get, like, demonetized or something like that, but I'm going to go for it anyways. But here, first of all, before we get too cray-cray, Permabrew. So there's that range increase. That is pretty beautiful. That really feels like a valid change to Permabrew. Otherwise, you pretty much need to get a Permabrew and then get some sort of heli pellet to move things around. But anyways, just about everybody's Permabrewed now. Got 2 more Permabrews to go, 1 more Permabrew to go, and everybody's currently Permabrewed. All right, so what I want to do is right now, I want to spend $0 for the rest of the game. And I want to see, can we beat Chimps mode with 4 Dragon's Breath wizards and a Permabrew? That would be absolutely ridiculous. It's just absurd. I mean, anybody can agree that that is absolutely absurd right from the get-go, right? I mean, come on. And if we can't, I'll just build more wizards, or maybe I'll, go a little cray-cray, get some Summon Phoenix action here. But anyways, let's talk about something controversial. So, the only YouTuber that I actually consistently watch, probably most days, I don't watch any other Bloons YouTubers whatsoever. I literally don't check their content at all. It almost makes me kind of, like, weirded out to go, like, feel like I'm stealing other people's ideas or something like that. So if you ever think that I'm, like, stealing somebody's ideas because I've done something that some other YouTuber has done, I promise you that I straight up did it. But anyways, the one YouTuber that I actually watch a reasonable amount is Linus Tech Tips. I don't know why, but I find just kind of tech news and the general idea of weird tech stuff kind of interesting. And then I also think that Linus is actually a pretty decent person. All right, I think that's a kind of hard thing to do for a lot of YouTubers, because even if you have, like, I don't know, I feel like, for sure, it's definitely like a money thing. When people get a lot of money, they get a little full of themselves, they get a little weird. Sometimes they change their mentality on a lot of things. And one of the interesting things about Linus is I feel like he really hasn't changed that much over time. But recently, he's been getting some flack because I guess people think that he's a really bad boss. All right, and they think he's a bad boss because they say that he underpays his people. He says that they say that he's not supposed to be that his workers are not supposed to be talking to each other about the amount of money that they're making and things like that, which in the United States is kind of a bad thing. But they are from Canada, so like the rules and things are a little bit different there, and things that might be kind of frowned upon in the United States are different in Canada. Now, it should be noted that it's kind of like a stigma for a long, long time that people should not talk about how much money they make to their coworkers. It's just kind of a thing. It's kind of weird that it's a thing, but it's still a thing. But anyways, Linus specifically, in his, like, employee handbook or something like that, and keep in mind that this is all from, like, random memory. I'm not making, like, a video where I'm, like, aiming to fight Linus or anything like that, but in his handbook, it specifically says, like, you're not supposed to talk to other employees about how much money you make, which, again, in the United States is not against the law. In fact, it's against the law to say that you can't do it. But in Canada, there is no such law, so people are kind of giving him some flack for that, on top of saying that he's sort of like a bad boss and he underpays people and things like that. And I honestly, I feel like I gotta defend him a little bit. He's created a YouTube channel that has turned into a business that employs like 60 people. Now, I don't know all of the intricacies of all the different things that goes on within Linus Media Group and all that stuff. But I found it really interesting that so many people can just sort of judge somebody so easily or so much from like stupid random information that they kind of see online. I don't know. I feel like I have to defend him a little bit because in one of his videos, he was talking about how he can't talk about money anymore because he has gotten so successful that he makes a lot of money. All right. And when people see him spending his money, they get upset about it. They're like, yeah, Linus is such a terrible CEO of his YouTube channel because he, took the risk to create a channel, to hire a bunch of people, to do all of these things, and now he is not allowed to show off his profits that he's worked hard to for his entire life to make all this stuff happen. And I feel like I'm just kind of upset at that. Now, me personally, I have made it kind of like a thing for myself that I don't really care if I make a huge, humongous amount of money and I'm so successful that I'm a millionaire or something like that. All I want to do is I want to make enough money to be happy, to survive, to get Chipotle every once in a while, to get Andy's every once in a while, to make sure that I have a house that I can live in and be successful in this house. That's really all I care about. I want to have a place to live. I want to be able to eat food. I don't need to be rich or a millionaire or anything like that. So sometimes you might notice that I'm a little bit lazy sometimes, and that's just a fact of life. I am indeed quite lazy. Sometimes I could make better videos, and sometimes I just get in a rut where I'm just not really feeling the channel. I'm not really feeling like making videos. And it can kind of be a little bit sad to make that all happen. But anyways, all I really wanted to say was that I feel like I have to defend Linus a little bit and just say that I am a little bit peeved that so many people are kind of mad at him for such stupid things sometimes. Specifically about being like, not being able to show off his wealth. He should be able to show off whatever he wants to if he wants to, even if people think that he's paying his people a little bit too little. I just gotta say, like, I know that people think it's unfair that if somebody is making a lot of money, that should always trickle down into the business. And it's not like he's paying everybody like a minimum wage or something like that. Like in the United States, minimum wage is like $7.50 or something like that. Federal minimum wage, $7.50. That's like $15,000 a year. All right, and I heard that Linus was paying some of his people around $40,000 in the United States or like 60,000 Canadian. And people were super duper upset about that. I'm like, dude, that's like 3 times the minimum wage. And I'm not saying that everybody deserves minimum wage or anything like that, but I just thought it was kind of absurd that people are upset about $40,000 or $60,000, because that seems like a pretty reasonable starting salary. I mean, I don't know everybody's information, everybody's details. If people have like master's degrees and things like that, and they're making 40 grand, like clearly that's probably too little. But for a lot of people, that actually is a lot of money. And the only reason that I say that is because as a person who worked at a garden center for approximately 10 years of my life, I made nearly minimum wage the entire time I worked there. I got raises too. That's the worst part about all of it. I got raises from about $650 to $750 to $850 to $875, and then my big raise was after I didn't get a raise for like a year or 2 years or something like that. I actually went to my boss and I'm like, I think I deserve to be paid more. I do a really good job with this with my job, and I want to make more money, and I got $11 an hour. That's what I made. Now, of course, that was about, what, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, something like that. So I know that times change, and people deserve to make more money and everything, but I just wanted to, I just had to say something about that. But that being said, you are not beholden to that job or to that boss. Do not go out of your way to do too much work. All right, I know that some people were saying that, or somebody in a Reddit post was saying something about, forcing employees to like stay after work and do extra work or something like that. That is something that I believe as a person you should not do. All right, do not stay after work to do extra stuff unless you are getting compensated for that stuff. Do not do extra ridiculous amounts of work just to say that you are like getting ready to maybe get a raise at some point. Like, it's just not worth it. All right, so that is kind of my advice to you guys. Again, I just had to defend Linus a little bit. I'm not saying that he's the best boss ever or anything like that. I'm just saying that some of the things that people are complaining about are a little absurd, in my opinion. Not completely. They have some valid points. But as a general idea of Linus being a terrible boss and a terrible person for not paying his employees enough while he still has a nice house and has a nice car is just straight up absurd, if you ask me. All right, we got round 98 here, and this is looking still decently okay with $66,000 saved up at this point. We are going to use Sada's ability here. Let's use a jump. And then we're going to go for Sada's second ability here in just a second as well. It looks like without this ability, we might have lost. Let's check this out. All right, did a pretty good job cleaning up. There's still some Bloons left. Oh, it's going to come down to these guys down in the bottom. Yes, and it burns to death. Oh, $73,000 saved up for round 99. Absolutely absurd. Wow. That is quite impressive, if I do say so myself. Now, I've got no abilities for round 99, but DDT shouldn't be that bad. We're going to try to do a jump here with Sada. We clean up round 99. No frickin' way. Can we do round 100 with 4 Dragon's Breath Wizards? If I can't, that's okay. I feel like I should lose. Obviously, I shouldn't beat round 98 at this point, but I should have lost already. To see this happening is just straight up ridiculous. If I can do this, this is crazy. And if I don't, I'm going to try to buy a few more Dragon's Breaths or maybe a couple Phoenixes and just see what happens here. But anyways, I just want to say to you guys that I don't think you should give every single ounce of your power and energy and everything into your job. You've got to make your own time. You've got to make sure that you're doing your own thing. You've got to make sure you're happy in life. And sometimes being happy in life means not overworking yourself. So if you feel like you're not getting paid enough, start looking for a different job. If you feel like you're not getting paid enough, ask for a raise if you can. I mean, I know that's not always possible in everybody's situation because some people have like corporate, like you only get a raise every year or blah, 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 blah. But whenever possible, look out for yourself more than you look out for your company. That's the best advice I can give you. Look out for yourself. I know that some people are like, well, we're family at my job. But that family could just as easily just say, well, you're fired. See you later. And never talk to you again and care about you in any which way whatsoever. Uh-oh. Here we go. This is tricky. Ooh, we're getting really close here. We do pop the bad layer. We do pop the DDTs inside. But there's no way we're going to pop these Bloons, man. There's just no way. I don't believe it. Oh, yeah. No freaking way. With 76K, though. So just to reiterate, I wanted to mention really quickly that I don't believe that I am the god of all-knowing being or anything like that, and you should listen to everything I say without thinking about things. I want you guys to criticize me and tell me that I'm wrong because of X or Y. I want you guys to tell me that I'm wrong because of whatever reason that you can think of. Or it doesn't always equate everybody's situations together. Very, very, very true. But sometimes I have to speak my mind, and sometimes I have to be slightly controversial to tell people advice or just get information out there, man. It depends because I have a wide variety of ages of people that watch my stuff, and somebody who's, 50 years old might be like, well, obviously I've got more experience than you, Chris. You can suck my balls. But somebody who's 17 years old or 18 years old or maybe 22 just getting out of college, they might put everything that they've got into their job. And one reason that I mention this as well is because my wife, she says this quite often, but she's like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to get a good raise this year because they basically gave her like a level. They could say she did not meet her, what is it called? Did not meet expectations, met expectations, exceeded expectations, and greatly exceeded expectations. Those are the 4 things that she can get. And she's like, yeah, I think I'm going to get meets expectations, but I'm definitely not going to get exceeds or greatly exceeds because I have kind of, I've kind of become dead to the world as far as my job is concerned, and all of the new people have not experienced that death yet. I was like, that feels very, very true. A lot of people, as they get more and more into their career, they realize that working really, really hard does not necessarily equate to being more successful. And that's really funky. Working harder does not always mean something is going to work out better for you. And that sucks to hear that for a lot of people. Oh no, I bought an Arcane Mastery. Oh, I've ruined my entire run. I've ruined it. Alright, we're going to go for more top paths here. I'm going to try to go late game with this strategy and just see what the heck happens. Everybody that I can put in range of this village, we're going to go for a Dragon's Breath with Arcane Blast. Anybody who's not in range of this village, we're going to go for a bottom path combo. We just want to see how far we can get with this combo. See if it's going to be good long-term, late game. I mean, of course, I've got this Perma Row, which means every single wizard that I build here is going to be extra helpful to me. There we go, another Dragon's Breath. I could go for Phoenixes and crap, but I'm not going to go for that yet. All right. And there it is. Round 102 is still going pretty strong here. I am not complaining whatsoever. All right, let's get another one at least. Oh, yeah, this is a perfect spot. Another Dragon's Breath, top path as well. Now, I have not been positioning my fires or anything like that either. I'm just going to kind of leave a trail of fire, kind of as they are. Leave them on close or whatever. I used to try to put them on corners, but I don't know if that's always 100% the best idea. Because if you're popping Boebs with your fire, you're not getting as much total possible popping power out of your defense as popping Bloons with a wall of fire. All right, 18 grand. We're making money over here, too. This is absurd. All right, how far can we go in Chimps mode, guys? What do you think? And, of course, in the comments below, if you think I'm wrong, go ahead, complain about me and stuff like that. I would be completely glad to experience some complaining about me. That's totally cool. I will not delete any comments or anything like that about this. Though I will say that I do delete probably like 2 comments a day on some of my videos because people are either spamming things about giveaways which are not real and they're trying to scam you, or sometimes there's very clearly something that I said like at 17 minutes into the video, but somebody complains because they only watched the first 10 minutes of the video and said I did something wrong, and then I realized that I figured it out later. So it's like you clearly didn't watch the entire video, and I don't like your comment, so I'm going to delete it. And I will say that I do it every once in a while, all right? It's not a grand scheme kind of thing where I specifically am like, I didn't like this guy's comment. He was a jerk to me, so I'm going to get rid of it. In fact, I actually usually take criticism pretty well. A lot of people always tell me all the things that I did wrong in my video. It's a very common theme, I would say. People love to tell me all the things that I did wrong. I can tell you that much. All right, where are we at on these wizards? Still going pretty strong, around 111. I think at this point, you know what? I'm going to swap my strategy. I'm going to start going for Phoenixes. And I want to see if these Phoenixes are going to be helpful to the team or what. Of course, we can't use any like automatic ability users or anything like that, so I have to go live on this puppy. But this is surprising, dude. One of the best strategies that I've ever used ever in Chimps mode. I usually do not make it past around 110 with almost any Chimp strategy, besides the Druid spam or the Ninja spam. So seeing a Dragon's Breath spam being so effective is very, very surprising. All right, well, because we're lasting so long over here, and, you know, I mean, she likes that, but it's not always the best thing ever, we're going to meet you guys back when we start to see some major issues. Here we go. First bad balloon coming out, round 119. We've got a pretty good amount of Phoenixes nowadays. I can basically keep like 3 or 4 of them on the screen almost all at the same time. It's kind of funny, actually. Oh, there's 3 bads coming out. Holy crap. Take down the first one. Let's jump on this one. Second one's also dead. Third one probably is going to go down, and these bad balloons are not as bad as I would have expected. Holy crap. 120, baby, and we're still pushing it. Should be noted at this point that I do have some of these wizards that are not in range of my Permabrew here, and I'm not going for any other buffs for the rest of the game. This is just Permabrewed wizards with Dragon's Breath, and some of them are Phoenixes. That's it. That's all I've got, and 1 village. It's not a hard strategy. This is very, very simple, and we're popping into the 120s, just about into the 130s at this point. Should be noted that I have been constantly activating these Phoenix abilities, so it does take a lot of micro to do this, but I'd honestly prefer to just spam a bunch more Dragon's Breath wizards if I could fit them on the screen. But don't forget, they're super cheap, bro. Super duper duper cheap, man. That's why we're able to get so many of them so easily. And like every round I basically get another Phoenix, because it's ridiculous. Look at this. Look how many Phoenixes I got. It's insane. Ooh, it's getting tight over here. Round 131. Are we finally going to be bested? Saw his abilities. Out of Phoenixes right now. Oh, we're getting them back for a second run. And we still survive 131, baby. All right, I strongly believe one of these upcoming rounds is going to be our final round here. I can't tell which one it's going to be. And I don't feel like commentating. It takes like a good 3 minutes or so to actually still beat a round here. So I don't want to... I don't want to commentate that entire time per round, but just knowing that any round could be the death of us is kind of scary too. So you guys might not get to actually see the final finale here, but we'll try to keep you guys as updated as we possibly can. Oh, I had a bunch of Phoenixes. I had like 5 Phoenixes, and I clicked them all at the very last second, but then a DDT popped right here, but then the ceramics snuck through. I knew it was going to happen anytime. I was trying to save my Phoenixes for the hard rounds, and I kind of screwed it up. I might have been able to make it a couple more rounds, but this was about as far as you can get. But still, unbelievably impressive for a Dragon's Breath army, dude. What? Well, anyways, if you guys enjoyed, make sure you press that like button, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you use that SJB Nexus code, and have a super duper delicious day.